Podcast. I am your host, Kyle.
Today I have a special guest. Today, a current SRO driver, Statakal Khalsa, is. During this podcast, I will probably get his name wrong a lot, and I've already apologized to him several times talking to him. So we have a fantastic day. I have a race car driver here for the podcast. Going to kind of do a little bit of an interview with him. Get his stories, inside views, and everything of the sorts. So, without further ado, let's get into the interview.
Howdy. Thanks for having me. My name is Statakal, driver of the number 53 GS Toyota Supra in Michelin Pilot Challenge. I also do some WRL stuff, and I think of myself primarily as a crap can racer, but my Instagram bio also says that I am a race fan, a nerd, and a shit talker. Thanks for having me.
Actually, speaking of your Instagram, I saw that video that you posted from your iRacing start. That karma that got back at you on that first pit stop was quite hilarious.
I'm so fucking stupid. So, it was really obvious, how the karma got me, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to back all these guys up, and I'm going to have a gap, and I'm going to have a 10 car length gap getting onto pit speed limit. And then I just walled that truck so bad. I'm so dumb. But yes, thanks for checking out my Instagram. It's just look me up on Instagram, guys. I think all you got to do is search Statakal, Satakal.
Yes, definitely check out his socials. I think most of the people that do listen to this is from the Garage 61 Discord, so they'll probably either already be following you or they're going to be following you now.
Excellent.
So
you said I don't know why you invited me onto this. Wait, so here's my joke. I got a joke. My joke is I don't know why you invited me on here. I only have 40 hours on Euro Truck Simulator 2. Not a whole bunch, but we can talk about truck stuff.
Okay. No, that's funny because I actually do play a lot of Euro Truck and American Truck Simulator 2 in my free time. But I did have one of my main questions I wanted to ask was because you said you do drive part-time in the Michelin Pilot Challenge. What was your career steps going from as a kid thinking I want to be a race car driver to I drive Toyota Supra in Michelin Pilot Challenge? The next step up is WeatherTech. You're almost to the big times. What was the thought process? How did everything kind of happen?
Okay, how did everything happen? I assume that all race fans are familiar with the term of a gentleman driver. And the skill range for gentleman drivers is the entire spectrum. Gentleman driver basically means, you're paying to be in a race car for that weekend, that championship, that year, just that day. So I think it just got to be just increasingly dumber money spending, starting from a Lemons car and then graduating up to Lucky Dog after getting sick of lemons. And then WRL popped on the radar. Actually, SRO GT4 America popped on the radar. and then I was doing WRL races like at that racetrack that I'd be going to. So I was basically, getting a test race before I would go there for the actual pro race. And now with Michelin Pilot, the guys that I'm associated with, guys that I want to spend time with, I'm having a great time around. The Kingpin Racing guys, uh, Tyler Hoffman, Rob Walker. I'm having just the best time doing stuff that I honestly never dreamed was possible. Like me competing and being on the same stage as McAleer and Phil Garris and Andy Lally. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm 100% aware that I'm living the dream.
Oh, definitely. So we'll go back. You started out running lemons? Seriously? That was where you started?
Okay, so I guess we can take it back like to like the beginning is I'm a late Gen Xer, so late 70s. In college, Gran Turismo was released on PlayStation 1, and I have so many thousands of hours in Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 4. I currently have so many hours in GT7. So my whole life, not life, but like playing a lot of Gran Turismo just like with my thumbs. And then in 2008, I got one of those sweet turbo BMW three cylinders.
Oh,
And
yes,
in that
yes.
first year of owning that 335, I did like 30 days on the racetrack in Southern California, mostly Buttonwillow. And then there was a lot of that was through the BMW club and the local PCA. And from that, I met some dudes. And so, like in 2016 or 2017, I hatched this really genius idea of like, okay, I want to go racing, but I got to trick some other people into this. And there's like three or four things that you must have in order to start a Lemons team. And those things are you need a guy that owns a truck, you need a guy that owns a trailer, you need a guy that knows how to weld, and you need a guy that has a garage that can like store the car. And so the genius part on from me is that I had none of those things. But what I was is I was like the main instigator of a group of engineers here in San Diego. And yeah, I tricked these idiots into building an E36 Lemons car, and it was fantastic.
Okay, that is quite hilarious. The fact that you're like, I want to do this and I have none of this stuff. But I know this dude, that dude, that dude, and that dude who has stuff. Let me see if I can
That's right.
convince them into doing this really, really dumb idea that they might not like.
Yep. Yeah, but I had already known these guys from like the BMW club, the Porsche club. I was at the time like a BMW club big track instructor and autocross instructor. So basically, it was like these are guys that I want to spend time with. These are guys that I respect their skill set behind the wheel. They will have the same serious and fun attitude that I have. And so it was kind of like, I get to pick my own all-star team from both the local BMW and Porsche club. So I kind of, plucked the cream of the crop of like my age set, skill set peers. And we made a sweet Lemons car. If you go to YouTube and search Button Willow 2017 Lemons, in the official Lemons YouTube video, they highlight we did a Star Wars theme. At that time, like the new Daisy Ridley Star Warses were coming out, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
we did the BB-8 Astromech, and because like the team is mechanical engineer, computer engineer, electrical engineer. We so the our E36 was like the spherical body, quote unquote spherical body of the Astromech, and then the head was on kind of like it tilted, and it was kind of like counterweighted. So like when you would turn the steering wheel to the left, but the right side of the car would be loaded up, the head of the Astromech would tilt into the corner, just like a motorcycle, right? Because we had 25 pounds of lead like underneath the head, swinging in the opposite direction.
Oh, wow.
And
That's crazy how y'all I'm just
Okay,
thinking of that and how it's doing it just in my head and everything, and it's just like that's genius.
yeah, it's just a stupid mechanism that I think we did it with like bicycle chain and sprockets. And so we just have like we have this 25 pounds of lead like counterweight, and then it's like hooked up through chain and sprocket, and then it tilts this dumb head on a stick. But okay, so yeah, that's good. But what's really right, so we have a computer engineer, electrical engineer. One of the guys did a thing where he put QR codes on the back of all of our helmets, and he put cameras behind the seat so that as the driver turns his head to the left or to the right, the the BB-8 astromech head on top of the car would match that. So the degrees of freedom that we had were it would essentially roll, like roll, pitch, yaw. It would roll left or right relative to the g-force of the car, but then it would also yaw left or right relative to the camera system picking up the driver's helmet. And so
Okay.
we had like these degrees of freedom, and they totally show it on. I mean, you can't blank, but they totally show us like all in costume and our red, like orange and white E36 in that 2017 Button Willow Lemons YouTube video.
I was really gonna be excited about like the WRL and the SRO and the MPC stuff, but this lemons idea that you did, I'm really gonna have to go back and watch this myself because this just sounds stupid amazing. To just the engineering behind everything to make everything work, and then the fact that it's like it actually moves properly with the driver and the way the car turns on track. Like that's just that alone for a Lemons car is amazing. But some of the stuff that comes up in the
Yeah.
Lemons series is just it'll blow your mind, some of the ideas that some of these guys have for these cars just to look so silly to go racing for 10, 12, 24 hours.
Yes. And then in addition to like how great our BB-8 car was, our costumes were so home run. So like I said, this was like uh not Phantom Menace, but whatever the first Daisy Ridley movie is, with like Poe and the guy with the triple lightsaber. I was Old Man Luke, and I look so good with like a shaggy beard and like dumb hair. And then my wife Kimberly is dressed up as Ray, and then we have our little one-eyed pirate dog like in an Ewok costume. And we also had Chad was Han Solo, and then I think we had like our crew guys just as Jawas, but they're 6 foot tall Jawas. But that was an easy costume to get from like Party City or something.
That's
So yeah,
amazing.
we home run that. It was so good.
That's amazing. That's a lot of stuff for a Lemons race, but like that's just an amazing thing to do. Speaking of like liveries and stuff like that, have in your WRL and your SRO, have you had any special liveries on any of your cars going through, or is
Oh,
like,
that's
have
that's a really cool question.
yeah, like what special liveries have you had on any of your cars, even NPC, like, and which one has been your favorite?
Okay, cool. Uh, so the first WRL race I ever did was in 2023 at NOLA with Random Vandals. And this was their first. So they had a deal with Continental, and so it was the golden black Continental BMW M4 F82. So not the one with like the monster buck teeth grill, but like
Yeah,
just like the regular kidney grills. So like super. I mean, maybe it's an iconic car for WRL, but it's infinitely recognizable. Just a black and gold with Continental. And so that was the first WRL car that I drove, and that was really cool. Fun story. I kind of walled that car at Road America later in that year, but no big deal. It happens, and the repair bill wasn't that large.
That's always a
And
good thing.
then, yeah, it was just 100 mile an hour off. That was basically a nothing burger. Uh, but I felt real dumb. And then uh, the so liveries. My wife Kimberly, she does liveries and T-shirts and stickers. She also does like all the travel stuff. But the livery that's on the WRL car right now, the 77 Supra, is a Kim thing. I also like recreated that livery in Gran Turismo 7. I think I did pretty okay, but like I got it to 90% and I haven't finished it. But my favorite livery is the livery on the GS 53. So this is the one that kind of has like the blue bar that goes all the way from headlight to butt,
Yeah.
instead of the 77 that has the white nose and the blue butt. But the GS car, man, it looks so good. And like the details on it, like the little details of the white and blue on the Supra bumper cover and tail lights are really good. But the best part is the title sponsor of Pirates Paddock. Our one-eyed mutt dog. Big old like a 40-inch sticker on the hood. That's kind of like the best part of all of the Kim liveries.
Oh,
Oh, and
that
then
is
for
pretty cool.
Kim liveries, you can check those out at robwalkerracing.com. And at Rob Walker Racing, there's like a whole media page where like Kim has like, hey, here's some of the shirts that I've done. Here's some of the cool stickers that I've done. Here's the cool liveries that I've done. And then there's also other things on there like the Rob Walker Racing support, and then trackside and sim coaching and repair and storage. And, everybody's trying to side hustle and whatnot. So
Oh, of
that's
course.
Kimberly's
Yeah.
side hustle.
One of our drivers, he does he works down the garage in with an F4 team in the garage with them, and then occasionally he'll do driver coaching for some of our gentleman drivers and whatnot. So he's doing what he can to kind of make as much money as he can, even though he's kind of getting paid to be in the car as well. So I definitely understand that because I've seen a lot of drivers out there doing a lot of driver coaching at the track for the littler series.
Yeah, dude, that side hustle, like the more exposed I get to like pros and like how hard they have to work to just like pay their rent, it blows me away. Like I have so much sympathy for pros. It's like I almost feel bad for them. It's like, oh man, it sucks that you got cursed with being this good at a thing that now you just have to like babysit old slow men to put food on the table.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, our last year, one of our Lamborghini drivers for the Super Trofeo series had Corey Lewis, who was running the Proton Mustang for GTD in WeatherTech. Corey Lewis was
Ooh.
his driver coach for the year, and now it sucks because Corey Lewis is now like a part owner in Rafa Motorsports for their GT4.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's really really cool. And unfortunately, our Lamborghini driver ended up moving over there because it was going to be a little bit cheaper on him for the driver coach stuff because they're all going to be in the same spot anyways. And it sucks that he left because he was a really cool guy. So was Corey Lewis. Corey Lewis was super amazing just to be around and everything. For somebody who's at the top tier of sports car racing in the United States, just to be a
hmm
very, very down to earth guy in the garage, it was just really, really cool. Speaking of like professional drivers, since you've been in the garage, especially MPC, so you've been in the WeatherTech garage pretty much. What what are some of like the most down to earth drivers that you've come across talking to in the garage, and like what are some of those that are like very snobby and nose stuck up and like you're you're MPC, you're not WeatherTech, go away.
okay, okay. I did in this year, 2025. I was at the Roar before the 24. and then the subsequent week, the week of the 24, in which I did the 4-hour Michelin Pilot race. I walked so many laps of the paddock, like hoping for like random time with just pros, or just to like see Jordan Taylor is always just like really exciting kind of a thing. But the coolest picture that I got was during the roar. It was probably like on photo day, so like on Wednesday or Thursday. And I'm just like walking around, I round a trailer and I see Shane Van Gisbergen, I see Connor Zilic, and I see Scott McLaughlin. And so like I think those three guys were like all in the same like WeatherTech Corvette in GTD Pro.
Yeah.
But I got a selfie with those three guys,
Oh,
and
that's
the
amazing.
look on my face, I have the most pumped look on my face, and I feel like these guys are like, "Oh, this fucking nerd dude, he's probably gonna pull out a knife and stab us after this and try and wear our skin." Like they have like really skeptical faces on, but I am infinitely pumped to get like a selfie with those guys.
I think
So
with
were they?
SVG, he definitely is. He's still getting used to the American fan base out here. So,
Yeah,
but those
yeah,
three, that is a really good group of guys to come across. And Connor Zilic, especially, like I haven't seen his earlier stuff. I only found out about him when he started running the trucks and stuff, and he had his first race at Coda in the truck series. But that kid has
yeah.
got
Wasn't
some
that awesome?
amazing talent. I can't believe the fact that he got pole, overshot turn one, went to the back of the field, drove to the front, had pit issues, went to the back, and drove back to the front. Like, that kid's just got some amazing talent.
Yeah, I keep telling my buddies that this kid is the future of NASCAR. He is it. Yep, what I can tell from like watching him on the broadcast is like he just has like a few little like brain things to like figure out. And then like once he gets firing on all cylinders, or he just kind of finds that Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus kind of like pairing, watch
Oh,
out.
yes, yes. If he definitely finds his Chad Knaus, he definitely will be a title contender every year for his entire career.
That's right. That's right. Um, so I Okay. So I did my first pro race. So I did SRO GT4 America in 2023. In preparation for that, at the end of 2022, we did a BMW M4 GT4 test at Button Willow for one day with Samantha Tan Racing. We were hanging out with John Lee Miller and John Capestro de Betts, and it was me and Rob Walker were the guys there.
Okay.
And then like I did a whole bunch of race schools, and then we signed up for WRL Coda. And so I was just so like I had only driven like 200 horsepower cars. So like to be in a 400 horsepower car, kind of a big deal. But yeah, and so at Coda, like when I wasn't in the car, I was just like walking the pits and like, oh my God, there's a pro, there's a pro. And I'm walking past like an ND Miata, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, I know some of those names on it. And then I turn around, I'm like, hey, are you Connor Zilic? And he's all, yeah, Connor. And then we were just talking for a few minutes, and like it's like, I mean, I'm just like a creeper, like talking to a 16-year-old is like a 45-year-old man. But like he was just like really sweet. And I think I remember interacting with him on the racetrack. So I'm in GTO and he's in GP2, right? So I suppose like it's a little, well, whatever. Like GP2 is basically if you have a Spec 46, that's kind of like where you'll slot in. And
Yeah.
I remember like being in corners with this guy, or like getting to and getting out of corners. And like I'm seeing this little car just like control the faster cars around him. Like the body language of his car was dictating to other faster cars what they could do and then when they could do it. So it was super obvious to me that that car was very well driven, and he was in control, even though he wasn't the fast car in the corners. It was great.
Yeah, that's crazy to hear that story of like the on track seeing of what like Connor Zilich's skill while you're behind the wheel watching him. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like, so like I'm just, blasting, like 40 mile an hour faster than him, like from 11 to 12. But like when we get to the 12, 13, 14, 15, like I'm running up on this kid, but he's also like he's he's like, you know, puppet mastering into my brain of like telling me where to go and then when to be there in a way that makes it so that he can lose no time getting in, going through, or getting out. It was like a really cool vibe of like, damn, this is what pro does. I got a long way to go, but it was really cool.
Nice, very nice. So I guess we move on just a little bit. So, kind of give me like a rundown of your point of view of a race weekend. You get packed up, you go to the airport, you fly to the track. Kind of what goes on through the weekend there.
Oh, yeah. So my weekend is, dude, the gentleman driver weekend is so like I I assume that okay. So all I know is my first person point of view. Like I know I've never done a weekend as a crew guy. I've only done race weekends as a driver. So I'm probably going to say some stuff that sounds like very privileged or whatever, but whatever. This is what I know, and you asked the question.
Yeah, we have some gentleman drivers on our team as well, especially in our PCA series. So I definitely kind of understand. And I work as a crew guy, so yeah, I know that there's probably gonna be some higher privileged stuff. But like that's kind of what I'm looking for is like what as a gentleman driver, what is your point of view for the race weekend as you fly into the track and you go through your weekend and everything?
Yeah, so what I typically see is so hypothetically WRL, this most recent WRL at Barber, there was no Thursday day, so max track time not there on Thursday, and so like the Friday is going to be, the practice and qualifying, then it's race Saturday, Sunday. So if there's no reason to show up the day before, like track walk or photos or tech or mandatory drivers meeting, I will work a half day on Thursday and then like catch like a noon or 1 o'clock plane and then fly into like Barber, and then be on the ground like well after sundown, go straight to the hotel, get some sleep, and then show up like at 6:30 in the morning to the track. The guys have been there all yesterday. They're getting the motors all warmed up and ready to rock and roll. And then it's just like, oh man, don't be jealous, but we just like show up and we bro out with Tyler. We bro out with our other drivers. We say hi to our crew guys that we haven't seen for 2 months. But it's really a class privilege split from the way that I see it in terms of like, so we'll have an RV and like a lot of times we'll just like, so we'll show up at the track at 6:30 and then at 7, like we'll all like retreat into the RV with our coffee and just like start talking some more shit about like, what the sim plan is, or how it relates to the simulator work that we've done, or what the run order is going to be, or meeting the drivers of the sister car, right? So with Kingpin, we were in the 77 car. The guys in the 77 car are the guys that I grew up doing lemons with. But there's a sister car, the 11 car, and the roster in that car is kind of like always rotating. So it's like, oh, Greg, you're doing Porsche Sprint Challenge West this year. Tell me more about that. Oh, you have a pro coach with you, the American version of Matt Bell. Is this guy cool or not? Let's find out. Or you got this guy named Pedro. We start talking, and it turns out that I already have a Pedro sticker, race car sticker, on my track bag from the year that I did 2023 SRO GT4 America. He was doing GT4 World. No, he was doing World Challenge that year. So he was driving with Spencer Pompelli. I got a Spencer Pompelli sticker on my bag. I thought it was a Spencer Pompelli sticker. Apparently, it's a Pedro sticker. And so you just like meet people, and then once things get going, like a guy will be in the car, and like the sessions on that Friday at WRL are like 40 minutes long. And so like for all of us, except for Rob, it's our all first time at Barber. So it's like, let's just figure out this car. Let's figure out this track. And then, 40 minutes happens and I don't have anything to do. So I just start walking around. I poke my head into like, see what's up with Ron at Discovery Parts. I poke my head into the Thunder Bunny tent. I see what's going on, with like all the different teams. There's like tons of pros that I know from like all the other stuff. So I'm like, start shooting the shit with John Lee Miller. Find out like, oh, you're here with like a gentleman getting him seat time for this, and you're coaching and that. I do a lot of like walking around, meeting people, and just seeing cool stuff. And then the Friday kind of ends. And then, Saturday, it's like show up again. We have a run order. And, if we're going to do like tank of fuel and driver swap, like every time we come in for fuel, we get a driver swap. That means there's 3 hours between like my drive times. So I have a ton of time to just walk around and be an idiot and look at stuff. So yes, there's a lot of downtime. My hands never get dirty. I'm always peeing because I'm always trying to stay like maximum hydrated. And it's just like being a kid, like walking around a racetrack, except that the only obligation I have is like to get in the car and not crash the car and then give the car back to the bros. So racetrack weekends are fun as a driver.
It's definitely a very, very different point of view from your point of view as a gentleman driver, especially as mine as a crew and hauler driver. I get there, I have to drive the truck in and follow the instructions to park the truck. I have to help the crew set up the tent. I do tire management for our guys over the weekend, so I'm constantly hidden in the back, making sure tires are clean, wheel weights are off, getting them ready for whatever tire manufacturer is there to mount and dismount our tires for new sessions. There's a lot of work, but like this, I'm sure race fans alone just kind of like still would like to know that point of view, even though it seems so classy and above and everything. But it's, everybody always asks, like, what's it like to be a race car driver? What's it like to be a race car driver? And you just told everybody. I show up and I walk around the garage and I talk to everybody, and then when it's my turn to get in the car, I drive really fast, and then I come back and don't wreck the car, and I give the other guys the car, and then I go back in the garage and walk around.
That is exactly what I do.
Which, as being a gentleman driver, I can understand there's a little bit of a difference between that and probably like a full professional driver like our Porsche Carrera Cup kids. Both of them are paid drivers. They have good sponsors. They're in the car because they have the talent to be in the car. And at Sebring, they ended up showing that talent quite well. Some of the other guys, a little bit more talented, but still, overall, pretty crazy. So, what is, other than your Lemons experience, what is the craziest thing you've seen on track? Going through a race weekend, like, of course, the craziest thing in NASCAR would be the Daytona fight in the infield at the end of the Daytona 500.
All right, so I haven't seen anybody get slapped. At Barber, a car burnt to the ground, to the point where when you looked inside of it, you couldn't tell if there were ever any seats or a dash in it. But I was just walking around and I saw like a whole bunch of smoke, and we were red flagged. Let's see, crazy. I almost walled the car at Daytona qualifying. I'm stupid. I have been upside down at the racetrack. I've also been upside down in a parking lot at an autocross.
Wait, okay. No, stop right there. I need to hear that story. How'd you get upside down in the parking lot?
Oh, God. So I'm pretty sure this was my fault. And it's kind of like a little bit of it is a sad story. It's like a bummer. But so when was this? It was probably like 2011 or something. I had a 1989 BMW 325i, an E30. E30, awesome little car. Four lugs, like 15-inch wheels and like 205s or 195s on it. And like I'm learning how to like autocross. So like pretty much autocross is where I learned how to drive. And then I always do the thing of, did I show up with wheels in the back seat and then put on like the autocross wheels? I don't remember. The point is that I am the one responsible for torquing the lugs. And so what happened was my not yet wife, I don't think we were even fiance at the time. My girlfriend was driving my car. And we're in our parking lot in San Diego at the time, the parking lot of where the Chargers used to play, had elevation change in it. It would be a 90-second lap. We would touch third gear on occasion. And so we're going in this like downhill section and then like turning to the right. So the left is loaded up and the left rear just like leaves the car. And the left rear rotor kind of like digs into the parking lot. And so, right, because it's a right-hand turn, the car is kind of yawed up. And then once the left leaves it, that left rear rotor kind of digs into the ground. And then we start to like roll. And so the car rolls to the point where like the A-pillar gets scuffed by the parking lot. And but then there was like yaw in the car that made it so that the car didn't go, like the roof didn't get scuffed, but like the A-pillar and I guess, whatever you call that, like the side of the roof got scuffed up by the ground, but we didn't go all the way over.
Okay.
So yeah,
so it was
down.
more like a tip than it was a full rollover.
So it was upside down. It was not a rollover, but it's like if you think about rolling over as like if as you're normally sitting in a car, you're at 0 degrees, and then if you're on your roof, you're at 180 degrees. Yeah. We were like at 160 degrees. So it's just like the like all of the like the rolls and pitches and yaws of it is we got to upside down, and then we landed back on our 3 wheels.
Wow. Okay, that is definitely a crazy story.
And that is one of the reasons why I don't turn wrenches anymore.
Well, that I guess from that story, it probably sounds like it's a good idea. No offense, man, but yeah, it definitely sounds like it's a good idea not to turn wrenches anymore.
Ugh. Yeah.
I really don't blame you. As my boss calls me, I told him when I was first hired, I'm like, I can learn how to do things, but I'm not super mechanically inclined. I've watched YouTube videos to learn how to fix my own car, and he's like, oh, so you're a YouTube mechanic? And I go, yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, it's like I know how to turn wrenches. Like, I've bench pressed like plenty of like transmissions from an E36, like doing clutch and like slave cylinder stuff. And then on that same E30, like it might have been in an autocross, like I lost a rocker arm in it. And so, it's like I go to the junkyard, get a rocker arm and like take the head off and like pull the whole camshaft out, like put a new rocker arm in and, you wrap it up by 3 a.m, then be driving in the car by 5 a.m. to go to the racetrack the next day. So I'm not incompetent, but I'm also not the best at doing the smart thing. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Hey, to each their own, Yeah.
All
right, so any more crazy stories you might have seen on the track or anything like that? Or maybe even something crazy in the garage? I know some crazy stuff happens in the garage quite a bit.
Man, so like, no, I haven't really seen any like crazy stuff like on track or in the garage. I'm just trying to like sneak my race car stickers in like all the places, like just hide them in like little corners, like when I go into like garages or racetracks. So I mean, that's what I'm just trying to do. I'm just trying to hide, my 53 Supra stickers wherever I can.
I will definitely have to try to find those as I'm trying to put Garage 61 stickers at every track too. So I will have to find those and
Oh
take
yeah.
pictures and send them to you.
Okay. All right. All right. I don't think I tagged up Barber at all, but they do a really good job of like taking stickers off, and it's like, oh man, that sticker cost me $1.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite? What's your favorite track to run on so far that you've been to?
This is such an impossible question. This is so impossible. Um, right. So like, I feel like I grew up at Buttonwillow. Um, I love the terror that is Willow Springs, Big Willow. Um, Road America is just amazing, and then the vibe there, the camping, the Siebkens afterwards is great. Um, VIR is kind of like not a fun uh, place to like. There's not a cool vibe when like the day is over there. Um, but holy cow, man, VIR is just it's a great place to die. And like if like part of what motivates me is like fear of death, VIR is just there's so many good ways to just like stop breathing at VIR. Um, I don't know if you would have assumed this, but Daytona. So I've done, one weekend at Daytona,
Yeah,
and Daytona's boring.
I would assume Daytona would like just the vibe of being at Daytona is amazing. I've been there as a fan for the 500 and the 24, and I have to say the 24 weekend is just much more fan friendly. And it's
Yes.
just like that vibe alone is really nice. I've talked to some of the WeatherTech guys about Daytona, and a lot of them have said like, yeah, it's really cool. Like the first 2-3 years you go, then after that it's a racetrack. It just
Yeah.
kind of loses everything. The more you go, it's like, that kind of sucks, but still.
Yeah. But driving Daytona, it's not that great. Although I have a new high score. My new high score is 172 mile an hour. Thank you, Daytona.
172. We've reached a new record.
Yeah, it will be really hard for me to beat that in a GT4 car. I don't think I'll ever eclipse that. So the only way to beat that high score is to step up in car class and go somewhere similarly impossibly fast. Maybe a GT3 car at Daytona to beat that high score.
So, you said Road America and VIR are some of your favorite racetracks. You're also an
Yeah,
iRacer. Have you
yeah.
raced those tracks on iRacing, and how do they compare from real
Oh,
life to iRacing?
so first of all, I hate iRacing with a passion. I hate iRacing so much. That said, I have nothing but praise for how the tracks are modeled and their one-to-one realness between the sim and what's really there. It is just like so excellently modeled, and like even when you're like working on like little tricks, so like Road America, like you blast out of turn 3, you go under that Sargento bridge, and then you have that downhill braking into turn 5.
Yes.
Like in iRacing, if you're playing around with the idea of like, hey, there's this like kind of chopped up curbing on the right. What if I like have my left sides on the left of it, my right sides on the right of it? Like, can I make that work? Like you can play around with that in iRacing, and that trick also works in real life. So what you can do is you can just like open up your entry into turn 5 and maybe roll like a half mile an hour more speed because you're turning in from like 3.5 feet farther to the right. And so it's like tricks like that are real and learnable, and you can throw your brain at a problem and try and like problem solve, like finding a half a tenth in the sim, and it will be time well spent because it will pay off in real life. So, Road America, amazing. Heck yeah, I spent a lot of time in the sim there. And then when I get there in real life, it's just like so good, so easy. My first time my only time at VIR in 2023 with GT4 America in the Auto Technic M4. I did a lot of sim work. I'm terrified of VIR, but man, I show up for like the test day, and within like the first few laps, I'm already like within a second of where I need to be. Just like after like 5 laps, the iRacing simulator is so excellent and required for preparing for a racetrack weekend.
All right, everybody listening, you heard it first. The guy hates iRacing, but says it is a great simulator to actually learn the racetracks. And it's great. I like this. Because I'm a huge iRacing fanboy, but of course, I grew up with Gran Turismo as well. And then I got into Xbox and was a Forza 2, Forza 3, and then the EA NASCAR games. So like I'm a huge iRacing fanboy. I don't really like anything else. R Factor is okay. Haven't tried Assetto Corsa or the new Le Mans Ultimate or anything like that. But like, yeah. So to hear somebody who kind of does this sort of for a living as a gentleman driver saying that the tracks are great copies of the real life track and are great testing for learning the real track. It makes me feel oh so good inside. I hope it just kind of like makes the haters feel so much worse.
Yeah, so WRL this year, our Lemons team. So me and Rob did like a whole year of like pro racing, right? And then we're like, screw it, let's do WRL and get our 2 other Lemons buddies like up into doing this. And they're like, okay, cool, let's go to Sebring. And they're like, we don't know Sebring. I'm like, okay, well, you guys are gonna have to learn to use the simulator, and then I'm gonna work with you guys, and then we're gonna get you up to speed on the racetrack before we even show up. So for those guys, I did a lot of like sim coaching, sim helping for like Sebring, for Road Atlanta, for Barber, and then we have WRL Road America coming up. So I'm working with the guys on that. And like one of the guys, he's every time previous to this year, he had never been motivated to learn how to use the tool. So like one of the things that I'm like, so I have a side hustle of trackside coaching and sim coaching. And what I tell people is like, first you need to learn how to use the tool, right? So you just need to learn how to like, I agree that when you sit down in the sim, you do not have butt feel. Nobody has it. Stop complaining about it. Shut up. This is what we have, right? So you need to learn how to use the tool. And then after you've learned how to use the tool, then you can learn the track, the car, the ideas, how to think, how to be patient, how to turn up the temperature, yada, yada. But, one of my guys has just been like garbage in the sim. Like he could never even complete an outlap. But this year he finally had the motivation to do it of like, oh shit, I'm going to go to Road Atlanta. It sure would be nice if I knew, what it looked like, what it felt like, how to plan and all that. So he finally like decided that, okay, I guess on the outlap, I won't die. Maybe I have to be able to complete the outlap to be able to like even like register a lap time number. But I've been working with like a sim noob, like experienced driver, but sim noob, with iRacing, and he's really taken to it, and he's having really excellent success. Like we always have at the end of a weekend, or like in the middle of a weekend, like, yeah, dude, this place is just like the sim. Like everything that we worked on, it's registering. It was time well spent, and I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't have done the homework.
That's great. That's awesome. Like I said, being an iRacing fanboy, that's great stuff to hear. Makes me feel better about myself. I've actually been testing Sonoma a little bit because that's our next race is a sprint challenge at Sonoma, and I kind of wanted to see if I could do a lap better than our gentleman driver that's going to be out there for the weekend, and then compare myself to his driver coach, who's also going to be there, and see kind of like what lap times he does.
And is that like in the 992 Cup that you're doing that?
Yeah, the 992 Cup.
Okay. And then are you comparing your lap versus their iRacing lap or versus their real life lap time?
Versus their real life. I know that it's going to be like a couple of seconds difference because that's usually our top Carrera Cup guy. He usually says it's about 2 to 3 seconds difference from sim to real life.
Not my experience.
Oh, really?
Or actually, so like with your sprint challenge, you guys are on the Yokos, but with like the Michelin pilot stuff, I think they've done a really like excellent job of just like BOP is the wrong word, but just like dialing in the coefficients of, the Michelin tire is going to get you about this lap time. So like what I found is like at Sebring in a GT4 car, like I can run an 11. And then in real life, I get there and I can run an 11, right, the 211. And so like at Sebring, pardon, when you go to Sonoma, there may be a huge difference because of the repave. But at the same, my point is that if the iRacing has modeled it, or for example, like I was watching trucks at Vegas over the weekend. Man, the lapse times that the trucks are doing, just like what I'm doing in iRacing. Like they've done a really good job of like having the thing match reality.
Yeah, I will say I started iRacing in 2010, and that was back when we didn't have a tire model. And then when they actually brought out the tire model, it made racing different. Everything wasn't just a qualifying lap anymore. It was actually like, hey, I might have to not get so hard on the throttle coming out of the corner so I can save these rear tires. And then maybe in a couple of laps I'll have the speed to pass this guy in front of me because he's aero blocking me so much.
Oh man, this past weekend doing Vegas races was so fun. This is brutal. Oh, so you in the 992 Cup Sonoma, does Sprint Challenge, are they going to run the regular Sonoma configuration, or are they going to do like the boring one with the chicane turn 9 instead of blasting turn 10, with big mile an hour? Like, do you know what configuration they're running? Because the configuration that SRO runs is not in iRacing. They have like 4 Sonoma configurations, but they don't have the regular one.
Yeah, technically what we ran last season, because it was our season finale for last year, is not technically in iRacing. It's technically the open wheel with the chicane before the hairpin, but using the hairpin. In iRacing, they don't use the hairpin. It's the cut across.
So at pit-in, you just blast through the cones?
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I remember doing that practice. I'm like, man, I wish these laps weren't invalid. Just like add one more configuration, guys. How hard is it to like take out a few cones of the model and let this work?
Yeah, allow us to go to the horseshoe, the hairpin.
Yeah.
So we're starting to, we're almost to an hour so far. And I got one last question. What are your best and worst rivalries through your career? I know you're a gentleman driver, so like a rivalry probably won't be as big other than like maybe your teammates, but like what are your most fun rivalries with like another specific driver on track? And like what are some of the worst where it's like, do you guys just butt heads constantly?
I actually have a pro racer that I fucking hate. I hate Terry Borscheller. You know the name Terry Borscheller?
The name sounds a little familiar, yes.
He's won Daytona 24 a whole bunch of times. He's done Le Mans. He's like a Hall of Famer kind of guy. So he's at a point where he's like old. And so because he's so old, he's a bronze rated driver, but he's still faster than a whole bunch of silver drivers. And so like his scam of the past few years has been like, okay, since I'm an AM, let me get a gentleman driver and we'll be paired up in an AM pairing, and then we'll win a whole bunch of races in like AM and hopefully a championship. Um, and so my first race in at Road America, Terry Borscheller bounced off of me because like getting into turn one, he was on the outside. And I don't know if he doesn't know this, but like you can't, if you're on the outside, you can't turn in until the car on the inside turns in. But he thought that he was just going to like bully me and make me like give up this apex or like breathe throttle for him. I'm like, no, bro, deal with it. And so he bounced off me, and then it was like, oh my God, Terry Borscheller. I just dirted Terry Borscheller. This feels awesome. So like he's bouncing around one, and then like there's full course yellow. He catches me. Oh, wait, no, the full course yellow. We pack up, and then we go green, and then like the only place that he has pace on me, because like honestly, like I'm not better than Borscheller. I just had really good BOP that weekend in the BMW when he was in the Supra. But then like in the carousel at Road America, this guy was like, he was like pushing me in the carousel. In like my in-car video, you can hear me scream like for my life. Like the scream of like right before like you roll over in a car and you're dead is the scream that I made. And he did that to me 2 times where he's just like trying to kill me in the carousel. And then he was a piece of shit human to me later that weekend at Road America. And now what I do is like every time I see the guy, I put on that like smug, nice guy face, and I like I shake his hand and I look him in the eye, and it's like this like, I know you hate me, Terry, and I know that your reputation is such that you cannot afford to be seen to be a jerk to me in public. And so I just kind of like turning that knife in him a little bit of just like, you have to be polite to me, but I know that you hate me too. So yeah, man, I have a beef with a Hall of Famer.
That's definitely probably one of the craziest rivalries.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And like all my bros know that I hate Borscheller, and oh man, that guy's a piece of work. When I hear stories about how he like is just a piece of shit to a whole bunch of like to a team, and how he's out of a job, there's nothing that I like more than hearing that Terry Borscheller is out of a job. Oh man, that's my favorite. And so like in 2024, he started the year with a team in GT4 America, and after like 2 or 3 races, he was out of that seat, and they had somebody who wasn't a garbage human in that seat. And then like he'll show up to WRL weekends every once in a while, and no joke, you can like fact check this with the guys at Kingpin. But at Barber, I was in the Supra. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a Terry Borscheller car in front of me. Do I have permission to dirt that car? And then there was radio silence, and like obviously I wouldn't have done that, but you know, I was just trying to like be spicy on the radio for the guys. But yeah, man, that guy, F that guy.
That's quite a rivalry. Such a short period of time, but I could definitely understand a little bit. I think if I was in your shoes and he was trying to shove me through the carousel, I'd probably be screaming the same way too. Well, it was great to have you on, man. Well, we're at that hour mark, so it's been great. Like, had tons of fun, man. We're gonna have to try to do this again. Maybe end of the season, do an off-season interview as well, see how your season went, everything. It was great to have you. The stories were awesome. I thank you so much for being here.
All right, yeah.
And giving me your free time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And if you see me in iRacing, just let me work on my safety rating in peace, please.
That'll be a no. Well, thank you very, very much, man. It was great having you. Hope you have a nice day, rest of your day, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Well, that was it, guys. That was the interview. How did it go? How do you feel? I think it went pretty well. Dude was amazing. All of those stories were great. A lot of the time, I was laughing, often in the background, especially with the lemon, the BB2 lemon car. That's actually quite cool and everything. So, but I thank y'all for listening. I hope y'all had a great time. I will see y'all in the next episode. Y'all be good.